And you've seen this fall off a cliff today. Why'd this happen? Why'd this happen to Bitcoin? Is this rally over? Is Bitcoin going back down to zero? No. This candle here is a buying opportunity. We've been telling you guys this. Every time a dip happens in the market, look at to scoop up some cheap Bitcoin. We are super bullish on the market and we'll tell you in this video, so make sure you watch this to the end. And with that, what's happening in Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it, we have an update from the Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act, which passed Congress in November 2021, including the provision amending the tax code to require anyone who receives $10,000 or more in cryptocurrency in the course of their trade or business to make a report to the IRS about the transaction. So basically, if you're a U.S. citizen and you receive more than $10,000 in cryptocurrency and you don't disclose it, whether it's with your trade or your business, if you don't file this within 15 days, this can get you found guilty of a felony offense. So right now, this is the fighting phase. First, they laugh at you, then they fight you, then they join you. So right now, this is the fighting phase. So remember that. And what's going on with the SEC? The SEC is still processing spot Bitcoin ETF paperwork. This is the latest and greatest. What's going to happen to the market when this shocks the world, when this gets passed? It's not a matter of if, but when. Taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart at the current time it's recording, we're coming in at 42.8K. And we see that we are in this ascending wedge. This is a bullish pattern. Even though we had this fake out, it's still bullish. You see, we come into this in a bullish fashion, we come up, then keep bouncing around, and then look it, we're getting closer to this apex region. We're going to get a decisive move either to the downside or upside. We've showed you the technical targets, but we recently had a short call. How low will this go? We had a fake out here, but we're still in this channel. Is a fake out to the downside? Let's wait and see. Look what happened here on the total 3 minus the USDT over Bitcoin. You can use this chart as an indication for the altcoin market. And look what happened. You see this here? Every time we see this fall off a cliff, like from this period till down here, this was Bitcoin season. And then when we have a run up to the upside, we have altcoin season. We've showed you this in plenty of videos, but we showed you this wedge that we've been falling into. Let's just zoom into the price action so you can see it a little bit closer. We've showed you this wedge. We came in, hit our head, bounced up and down. We had this breakout. This is when we had a massive alt rally. So when Bitcoin dumped because of the leverage in the system and speculation of the ETF not being passed or whatever you may have, look what happened. We had this breakout and had this perfect comeback and retest, flipping resistance that acted as resistance multiple times over the past few years, and flip this to support before we have that continuation to the upside. This is very bullish for the altcoin market. If you haven't stacked your bags yet, we don't know what you're waiting on. Could this come a little lower? Potentially, but this is a textbook pattern. Hit your head and a bump and run to the upside. That's where we're going. An update from Jason Williams. BlackRock is reportedly planning to acquire 10 million worth of Bitcoin as initial funding for its potential spot Bitcoin ETF, still currently under review. We've showed you that in this previous article here. So they delayed that purchase until January 5th, reportedly, and it dumped 9% today. So I wonder why that dumped. Did BlackRock want to get a little bit cheaper Bitcoin price? Is that what's going on behind the scenes? Well, either way you cut the cloth, the Bitcoin ETF is coming soon. Be prepared. And then the halving's in 4 months. So whenever the ETF passes, you got the halving coming up, you got rate cuts that are coming up. This could get into a extremely wild year. So prepare now if you haven't been preparing. And we have a corporate play that Dylan LeClaire is talking about. So let's hear what Dylan's talking about and how Bitcoin could change the corporate investing landscape. Let's hear what he has to say.
It does appear that companies that made a bet that this was an investable asset it's paid off. I mean, if you look at MicroStrategy, which was a software company, in 2023, its stock soared 337%. It outgained in terms of percentage NVIDIA and Meta, and made it one of the biggest gainers in the United States, largely because of its holdings in Bitcoin. But do you see a scenario where either because of competition from other crypto or digital dollars, for instance, or just because of the volatility that we've seen, that evaporates?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the most misunderstood story in corporate finance, right? MicroStrategy is a $1.5 billion company in August of 2020. And by the way, they're still a software company. They're still a business intelligence firm. Bitcoin's just their reserve asset. It's their treasury reserve asset. Fast forward to today, they have $8.5 billion in Bitcoin, $11.5 billion market cap against $2.5 billion of longer dated fiat liabilities, right? This is a masterclass for corporate governance. What Saylor's doing with selling shares to buy more Bitcoin, increasing Bitcoin per share is very understood.
Okay, so here's the thing, Dylan. Do you think if this gets approval from the SEC, this ETF, that we will see other forms of cryptocurrency soar as well?
Yeah, but this is the thing, is that people often misconstrue the biggest story, and then they confuse it or kind of muddle the news down with the other the crypto securities, the crypto assets. Bitcoin is a digital monetary network. Mm-hmm. If this thesis is correct, it's $100 trillion idea, right? In a world where fiat currencies and debt instruments decay against everything that you want to buy on a long time frame. So it's still very much misunderstood. The FASB corporate accounting guidelines are coming into change at the end of this year, and you can actually carry this forward. So Bitcoin is no longer an intangible asset on the balance sheet, where Michael Saylor and other adopters of this have to mark to market the losses but not the gains. This is a huge story.
Yeah. There you have it from Don LeClaire. He's telling you what's coming. You're not going to see MicroStrategy be the only player in the game that is having Bitcoin as a reserve asset. This is massive and major for Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem. What is coming down the pipeline? We hope that you are prepared, because 2024 and 2025 are going to melt faces like you can't imagine. And with that, that's all I have for you today. Once again, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.